This is Dmitry Glukovsky. He wrote the novels that built the entire Metro universe. And as of recording this video, Metro 2039 was just announced. On the same day, he posted this. Simple as anything, he said the story he always wanted to tell had to wait. Had to wait for reality to catch up. Read that again. You know how people used to say The Boys was getting too crazy? Yeah, too on the nose. We're at season 5 now, and the discourse has completely flipped.
Open the door now.
Reality might actually be wilder than the show. That's the world we're in, and apparently, it's the world Metro has been quietly predicting. Reality has caught up to fiction, and now, fiction has something real to say. Before we get to 4A Games, the studio that made all of these games in the first place, I need to talk about where we are. The games industry has looked, for the last few years, like it's been in a constant freefall. Studios shutting down, teams disbanded, and somehow with talent scattering everywhere, nobody can find a job. And what makes it genuinely painful is that most of it had nothing to do with quality. With, of course, a couple exceptions. And don't worry, I'll get into that. Hi-Fi Rush was a great game. Surprising, out of left field, and it was its own thing. Gone. Tango Gameworks closed as well. It's not like the game failed. It was fun, and it was widely praised for what it was. It even got a couple nominations for awards. It just so happened that someone above them decided that it wasn't enough. And on the same day that announcement dropped, Arkane Austin, the studio behind Dishonored, behind Prey, mind you, 2 of the most respected immersive sims of the last decade, also went down. Their founder even went out of his way to call the decision stupid afterwards. He said that they were a special group of people who could have pulled it off again. Fortunately, to those higher up, seems like that didn't matter. And those games were fun as hell, man. And then, on the flip side, you got...
Welcome to...
Yeah. And listen, I know everybody loves to rag on that game, hell I did too, but still, if you look at it, it was 8 years of development. And it was one of Sony's big bets to land the next massive multiplayer hit. Launched August 2024. Dead in 12 days. That game peaked at 697 players. Nobody wanted to play it. And around 150 developers who spent nearly a decade on that project out of work overnight. Real people. And as someone who's been recently laid off myself, words cannot describe how it feels to have the rug just pulled from right underneath you like that. And those are just the names that people remember. For every studio that makes the news when it closes, there are teams nobody has ever heard of. There are projects that never even had names, games that were gone before they existed. I mean, over 33,000 developers lost their jobs between 2022 and 2024 alone. That's not a rough patch anymore, it's structural. This is just something that the industry and us as people are gonna have to get used to seeing in headlines routinely. And that really sucks. This is where we are. This is what making games looks like right now. So when a studio not only survives, but delivers, that means something it didn't used to. 4A Games is a proud Ukrainian studio. When Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022, making this game changed completely. Based off what they said, the team scattered, and development kept going from multiple locations, through power outages, through running on generators, through the kind of daily disruptions that don't make headlines but completely reshape what a workday even looks like. The story that they had planned for Metro 2039 actually got scrapped. And then it was rebuilt from scratch around what they were actually living through. And listen, I want to be careful here because this kind of story tips into something uncomfortable fast. It becomes about optics, like, oh, look how resilient, look how they overcame. That framing does the actual people a disservice, I think. I don't want to turn someone's reality into just a talking point, but look at Stalker 2, another Ukrainian studio, GSC Game World, building under similar conditions. The weight of that development is something most of us will never understand from the outside.
Але я проснулася від звуку в сні. Перша сирена.
And yet, the game came out. People played it, reviewed it, and moved on. And that's not criticism of anyone. It's just a reminder that behind these announcements are actual people navigating something most of us haven't had to. And they're doing this because it's their craft. It's their careers, the work they chose to keep showing up for. what 4A Games made, they made with all of that running in the background. The cost of existence has always been central to the series. It's baked into the foundation. When I played Metro 2033 and Last Light, what stayed with me wasn't the main plot. It wasn't the dark ones either. The mission to warn Polis felt almost secondary to just having to survive the world around it, because the world itself, to me, felt like the story. Seeing the sad pig farms, seeing these dilapidated and desperate markets, and, just being nosy and eavesdropping and listening to every survivor talk to each other like that conversation might be the last comfortable one they get. The Metro series has always had so much texture, so much detail, just so rich from top to bottom. And the game grinds it in mechanically as well, constantly at that. Playing on the highest difficulty, every bullet mattered. Military-grade ammunition was more stressful to have than it was useful for me. I'm always second-guessing whether to spend it, always holding off in case something better came later, and I always ended up worse off for waiting. I misjudge a timing once, I miss a shot I definitely should hit, and suddenly I'm burning through resources I know damn well I can't replace. There's no warning, there's no music coming in, nothing to tell you that a big firefight is about to happen or has just started. It's just the quiet, sickening realization mid-fight that I'd made things significantly worse for myself. Now, I gotta live with it. The fear of consequences filled me with more dread than the Nosalis ever did. Metro has always treated the apocalypse as something that you endure. It rewards you for paying attention, checking every nook and cranny, and seeing everything that the game has to offer. It could be bullets, it could be a gun that you might not be able to get anywhere else. The game is designed for you to take in everything as it is, and then some. Not something you run through mindlessly. Unless that's how you want to play it, I guess. So when the creative director Andrei Shevchenko says the message shifted from preventing war to the consequences, the cost of silence, and the price of freedom, to me that's the series finally saying out loud what it's been showing you the whole time. The war didn't create the theme, it just made the people writing it unable to treat it as fiction anymore. Games have never shied away from dark themes. There's been plenty of games out there with dystopian societies, authoritarianism baked in, and society collapsing. It's practically its own genre at this point. And most of it gets built from a safe distance, researched, imagined, referenced, crafted as commentary by people who haven't had to live inside what they're commenting on. For the team at 4A Games, it's just their reality. Whether that makes Metro 2039 a better game, we genuinely don't know yet, but it makes it a different one. And in an industry drowning in content, different and true is rare enough to pay attention to. We've seen a trailer and a gameplay snippet. We don't know if it's gonna be good. And honestly, that's the wrong reason to follow this story. A studio rebuilt what they were making from scratch. An author in exile helped shape a narrative about tyranny from outside the country doing the tyrannizing. A team literally kept the lights on to finish something they believed in. In an industry where good work disappears for reasons that have nothing to do with its quality, Metro 2039 showing up isn't a given. It's the result of choices made under conditions most developers will never face. Glukowski said the story had to wait for reality to catch up. Well, reality caught up. The game is coming. That's worth paying attention to.